Your application number is 54. If you understand the rules, you may continue. Yes, sir. Good luck. So we are here to answer the question, what scientific discovery has impacted human life the most? It's beans. Not really, but in some sense. I mean agriculture. I'll be going over the history of agriculture and where we would be without it. You're a human in 12,000 BC, and you and your Homo sapiens are living in the woods hunting. Humans up until now have used tools, used fire, and have the capability to make villages. But there's just one issue. Since you hunt for food, you have to move with the animals, as the ones in your areas will learn not to go near where you live, because that's where all of their friends got killed. Or they will die out because you've hunted them all. But your friend has made a discovery. If you leave a raspberry in the ground, later in the year it will make more raspberries from the raspberry bush. But that doesn't make you full, so you take to harvesting simple grains, since those fill you up more. After you die, more and more generations of Homo sapiens are finally able to completely rely on agricultural food. It was a good thing for us, future sapiens. But people then were very malnourished due to the little nutrients that the grain provided. Children would often have a hard time developing and would become very short and weak as a result. The average height of the human male went from 5'9" to 5'2", 7 inches if you're too lazy to do the math. But things did take a turn. People found out 2,000 years later that babies can drink the milk of a cow. All babies at the time were lactose tolerant but grew out of it as soon as they were adults. This is called an epigenetic gene change, like how many babies have blue eyes then grow up to have brown eyes. One lucky baby got a mutation that allowed him to keep the gene through childhood and adulthood. This allowed him or her to become stronger and grow up with more nutrients than all the other kids did. This decreased chances from dying of illness and injury. One reason the malnourished were so much shorter was the vitamin B12 deficiency, which plays a key role in cellular replication. If your cells can't replicate as fast as they're supposed to, it hinders growth. Your lack of nutrients will limit the ability to perform cellular respiration, giving the organism very little energy. Over time, being lactose intolerant as an adult was a more desirable trait, so more and more of the population would become lactose tolerant as they would reproduce more. 12,000 years later, and now 85% of the adults in the US are lactose tolerant. However, only 30% of the globe is. As agriculture allowed civilizations to stay in one place, it allowed societies and civilizations to grow. And doing scientific research isn't exactly possible when you're traveling across the country and have no access to exotic minerals and substances that are needed for these experiments, because there's no mines. More on that later. When civilization started to rise, laws would protect the farmers from each other, and the people as a society planned irrigation systems together, allowing for more organized water flow. When the 8th century came along, a new farming system called the two-field farming system shook the world. It made farming much more efficient. And after that, the three-field system was introduced, then pesticides, genetically modified crops, tractors, pasteurization, sweeteners, automatic sprinkling, and so much more. GMOs are made by changing genes in certain plants to change their phenotypes. Personally, I'm really excited about GMOs because we can make plants able to adapt to extreme environments to help the hungry. Also, I could grow bananas in Antarctica. There is some controversy, but that is a topic for another day. Also, I'm biased and I don't want you to hear the other side of the story. But what would have happened if no caveman had put berries into the ground? No lasting scientific discoveries would have ever happened. Almost all scientific discoveries happen in a stationary environment. Many might say that agriculture was not a scientific study, but in fact it is. Anything can count as a scientific study that has a hypothesis, experiment, and conclusion. A hypothesis would be putting raspberries into the ground will result in more coming out the next year. The experiment is, it just needs to be stable. And the conclusion is putting raspberries into the ground will result in a net gain of raspberries the next year. Can you think of a single discovery that could have happened without agriculture? I'm serious, pause the video. Here's my thinking, and it should be yours too. The microscope was never invented. All the discoveries that used microscopes would have never been invented. And if agriculture never happened, all the discoveries that relied on a stable environment would have never happened, because agriculture is the only thing that could support that. A society, civilization, culture would have never happened without agriculture. Agriculture is one of the most important discoveries to human life. The most important. This is what sets us apart from every other organism on this planet. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.